Hi, everyone. Good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. This is the weekly forecast for originally intended for June 26th through the 2nd of July, Saturday the 2nd of July. Each card will represent a couple of days of the week. We'll have the beginning of the week, midweek, and then end of the week. And it is the underpinning energy of what's going on. And then through each day of the week, I will do another reading each day that uploads, that adds a layer to what is going on. So this is kind of a broad spectrum reading for all signs. It is intended whenever you see it, but it's created for those days. If it still makes sense to you, even if you're watching it on different dates, that's totally fine. Utilize it and put it to good use, right? That works with any of my readings. Take what you need and leave the rest. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu. In there is house rules, things I want you to be aware of, what decks I use, how to book a private reading, how to support the channel. All of that information is in there. Ways to support the channel. Please, if you like the content, even if you're doing a drive-by and just watching one video, hit that thumbs up button. If you like my content even a little more, please hit subscribe and the notification bell so you get notified. I do put up daily content. Leave a question or comment, share the video out, let your friends know about me. All of that stuff greatly helps. Let's get into this and see what's going on with this reading for the week. Okay. Oh my God. This card will not go away. This is the third day in a row this card has shown up. It's interesting to me because I'm going to say this. I don't know what it is that we're mending or what it is that we're sitting with, what it is that we're looking at, what it is that we might be holding on to that has not been ideal or that has been painful even, that has been ultimately a setback of some sort. This Five of Pentacles is about sort of setting that right, setting that back. This being the underpinning of the beginning of the week, I would say we're still kind of, it's not necessarily in our feels, but trying to make sense of a situation, trying to find the best option, trying to find the best answer, trying to sort things out, and also maintain that pink ribbon in the back is maintaining that idea of love and compassion, that focus, right? Some of us might just be looking at our damage this week in the early part of the week, or our frailties, our insecurities, our fears may very much be up at the forefront for us as we work through whatever it is we're working through. This particular Five of Pentacles gives me this sense of mending or coming back together, becoming whole again. And as I've said in previous readings, the fives are always transitory. They're always transit. There's moving from, the stability of the four to the balance of the six, right, in tarot. So this is only, for a period, but it's something that we have to reflect upon, something that, doesn't feel right or didn't make sense or, harmed us, inconvenienced us, hurt us in some way, set us back in some way. And how do we rally? How do we come back whole again? And I really do feel like this sand dollar is trying to come back whole. We've seen this card 3 days in a row, so it feels like this might be a little bit bigger than just some idle setback. For some of you, it may be, but for some of you, it might be a little bit deeper. For me personally, if I was to apply it to my life, I think it's about deeper insecurity, right? So I'm having to face some of that stuff to bring myself back to a whole sand dollar. So that's kind of the metaphor that I'm seeing here in this, at least through my lens in my life, right? But for you, it may be something, I don't know, whatever it is, it's a loss of some sort, it's a setback of some sort, it's something that is, it was or is hard to deal with, and we're trying to process our way through it. So allow that process to take place, keep that focus on compassion and love, be kind to yourself, and allow the transition and the transformation to take place as you move through it. So let's go to the midweek card. We have Temperance. Not mad at her at all. We need her after seeing this Five of Pentacles. Card number 14, which is a 5. Again, transition. But I love Fives are about transition, but I love, and I was also associating this Five of Pentacles earlier in the previous readings with transformation, or like a small death in a way, right? Small death card. Temperance is major arcana, so it's a big, beautiful, powerful energy, but it is a softer energy. It's about being, careful, measured, peaceful, maintaining that sort of emotional well-being and groundedness. It's associated with the sign of Sagittarius, which is great because Sagittarius is expansive. It's mutable. So there's a flexibility with temperance that we need to have. The Two Cups, pouring the water back and forth, brings me to that idea of the Two of Cups. The pink background brings me to this idea of this ribbon, maybe like sort of flooding us out and giving us this beautiful lavender background, where we're in more of that heart-centered space during the midweek, where things feel a little bit more in balance as long as we pay attention to them and maintain that balance, maintain that sense of peace. And that I'm going to say this with the butterfly there, maintaining that strength in fragility, right? A butterfly is beautiful and all of that, but it's also very fragile, right? And so as we're coming through this experience of whatever this Five of Pentacles is that we've been looking at for the last few days and making sense of it to a degree, the transformation takes place and the peace settles in the midweek. And we need to sort of maintain that through that measured thinking, feeling, temperate way of being that this card represents. Oftentimes in traditional tarot, this is depicted by an angel that has one foot stepping into a bit of water, which represents the emotions, and one foot on the ground, which represents the earth, right? So being grounded while we are in touch with our emotions and keeping that balance, pouring that awareness, that sensitivity, acknowledging it, honoring it, the fragility, and owning it, right? Being gentle with ourselves. That would be temperance. So keep that in mind. It's a very powerful card, but it's very subtle. It's similar to the Star, in my opinion, where it's one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, because it's the soft, centered energy that oftentimes, the world that we live in doesn't necessarily provide us with or show us how to get there. We have to find it ourselves. And that's what I think we've been working towards or working on. So let's go to the end of the week reading. End of the week card. I will take it. I love this guy. He is my second favorite card of the deck, of any deck, because of what he represents. He is Page of Cups. Now, Page of Cups to me is the magical dreamer, and that's why I love him. He's oftentimes associated with my sign, which is Pisces, and I have 3 planets in Pisces. I have my Sun in Pisces, my Mercury in Pisces, and my Venus in Pisces. So, oh boy, watch out, guys. But he is the guy that thinks outside of the box. Pages are youthful, right? They bring messages with them, new learnings, new ideas, new thought. They're open to learning. They're open to experience. They're excited. They're youthful, right? That idea of Pisces, or that open sort of watery energy that the page represents, is, to me, exciting, right? Think outside of the box at the end of this week. I also love that he's sort of at peace with his little cup of joe there, right? And his little crown chakra has a little flower on it. And he's sort of facing the past, right? And it looks like in the earlier part of the week, we might have been facing the past from a place that was more broken. We make an understanding or get the strength that we need in the fragility. And then as we settle into that fragility, right, and become like the Page of Cups, we become youthful again. We see positivity. We see possibility. We can still look at the past, right? But we can also be open to the future and the ways that things may transform or change for us emotionally this week, right? The page to me is oftentimes about exuberance, fun, exploring, right? Learning, a willingness, right? There's a youthfulness to the page. So I'm not angry that he's here. I still think we're looking at, with the way that he's positioned, looking to what I consider the past of the reading. I do think that we're still looking at things, but we're more settled in how they were or what had happened or how we feel. And we're now open towards, moving away from that, if that makes sense. So I'm excited for this because that butterfly and temperance being in the center says, when we own our own fragility and our own transformation and we maintain it, we settle into the newness and the excitement of the page. And that to me is about Page of Cups. To me is also, he's the magical dreamer, meaning like to him anything is possible. So through this transformative spirit, we have Sagittarius, which is the mutable fire sign, and we have Pisces, which is the mutable water. There's flexibility and possibility here in this reading this week for us to transform and become, I don't know, like to me, the Page of Cups almost feels a bit like a wild card because he is such a dreamer. He can concoct, and see things that otherwise cannot be seen. Does that make sense? So we should be excited about his presence being here at the end of the week. There may be an opportunity for us here to grow in ways that we didn't expect or create in ways that we didn't. The Page of Cups is definitely the card of the deck that does not color within the lines. Let's just say that. He's going to be the guy that's going to dream big and shoot for the moon and make it, and not believe the rules or the restrictions that may be imposed upon him. So let's look at interesting. Oh, wow. Wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. Card number 64. 64 would be a 10, which would be a 1. So this is the focus on the self, right? Sometimes life stings makes me think about this 5 of Pentacles right out of the gate. We've been dealing with this life sting or this 5 of Pentacles for the past 3 readings leading up to this weekly reading. And part of me feels like this transformation with Temperance and then the yellow background also of the Page of Cups, even though he's an emotional sign, the yellow takes me to the place of the intellect. So it feels like the emotions and the intellect maybe come in together or realign again. We saw that in Bobcat Spirit with Life is a Mystery. It was like yesterday's reading, not about necessarily understanding everything logically. And I think that's sort of what Wasp Spirit is saying today when it says sometimes life stings. Not everything's supposed to be perfect. It's not always supposed to be easy. If it was, it would be boring. We wouldn't learn anything. We wouldn't be able to come out of, a butterfly goes into its cocoon. It goes into the disgusting pupa phase. Like, who wants that? It even sounds disgusting. And then it comes out as the butterfly, right? So Wasp Spirit is telling us, maybe some of these things that we've experienced or that we're dealing with or we're transforming through are just part of life stings and part of the process. That's my feeling. Let's read Wasp Spirit and see what he has to say. The protection message in this deck is if the card is inverted. I don't necessarily invert the cards, but you can take the reading. I read both in case it makes sense for you. So you can take either reading with this card. Sometimes life stings. Not all that spirit creates in nature is easy to love, but when we look through the eyes of Wasp Spirit, we recognize that even though sometimes life stings, there is a purpose for pain, just as there is a purpose for wasps in the natural world. Wasps keep insect populations down, supporting the growth of plants. So too, the sting of life may hurt, and you may feel deeply disappointed or even resentful that Wasp Spirit has shown up. But you will soon come to see that Spirit has something wonderful in store for you. You may well come to realize that being stung led to something far better than you had envisioned for yourself. Perhaps behind the scenes, Wasp Spirit was conspiring with Spirit to ensure that you could grow something of value to you. Spirit has a plan, and Wasp Spirit plays a part. Have you ever looked back and been glad your prayers weren't answered because the path you took led you to something far better? Wasp Spirit is a reminder to reflect on those times of, for today's sting may hurt, but something better awaits you. And I feel like that's sort of this contemplation that this little otter is giving me. He's looking to the past, but he's kind of okay with it, is my feeling. He's like, oh, okay. The protection message. Are you holding on to anger, jealousy, or resentment because you got stung? Or could you have just stung yourself by comparing yourself to others? There will be someone else who is more successful, happier, thinner, richer, etc. Jealousy is the false belief that you can't have what you want, or someone could take away something that was supposed to be yours. Let it go and release all those feelings that are making the sting hurt long after the stinger has been removed. Wasp Spirit has woken you up, and now you are called to trust that disappointment can lead you to a different and better path. Align with spirit now and trust that this too shall pass and is already doing so, for the pain subsides when you stop telling the story of how much it hurt. Interesting. So, and I think that stopping telling that story is the memory of that body. So let's go to the grounding stone. This is a principle we'll want to ground in and refer back to during this week. And the grounding stone is nature. Nature, to me, oftentimes represents actual physical nature. The plants, animals, it's similar to the wasp spirit story where it shows us that wasp spirit does serve a purpose in the natural world. So oftentimes we can take our cues from the synchronicity of the natural world, that everything is working in sort of divine synchronicity, right? But there's also our own personal nature and how we are in our own world, and how we sort of adapt or connect to our environment. And I think that's kind of the idea that we might want to look at today or this week as we ground in the idea of what is our true nature. How do we truly feel about a situation? How are we truly connected to past pain, insult, hurt, harm, or discord, right? Are we able to find temperance and balance and peace within those situations and free ourselves from them, understanding that ultimately they're not necessarily about us. They're about kind of what they taught us, or how they forged us in a way. And that's all part of our true nature of who we are. Understanding that and learning that about ourselves and the magic of that, because that's this guy here. It's like there's this like real appreciation for, this joy maybe at the end of this week that where we actually really believe in ourselves. So ground in that this week and understand that the hard lessons we go through do serve a purpose. They do create us in ways that benefit us. That is your reading for the week. Please hit the thumbs up button, share the video out, leave me a question or comment. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow with a new reading. And thank you so much for tuning in. I know I said like, share, comment, subscribe, but please do so. It helps to support the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye-bye.